Are you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human Design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are.
Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. This is the podcast you've been waiting for. Hi. Hello. How are you? My name's Krystle. I am a 1-3 sacral generator, Sagittarius Sun, rising Capricorn, and Aries Moon.
And I'm Leah, 2-4 splenic projector. I'm an Aquarius Sun, a Taurus Moon, and a Libra rising.
And welcome to the program recap. Things have shifted and changed around here as the nodes have changed. So too have we. So too probably have you. So if you've been here for a while, we want to let you know, or if you're new here, welcome, let you know what this is going to be about. So this is still going to be bi-weekly, just so everybody knows. It's going to be, instead of like sometimes we tend to sometimes drift off into some more detail about things, we want to bring you to another place where we can give you all of the details. So that's why this is called the program recap, because we are going to have the program breakdown over on our email. So this is really more so just a breakdown, and we're going to still travel through the week through human design, astrology, and tarot, but we are just going to be interested in giving you just the details. We highly recommend jumping over to our email list where the program has moved to, and that'll be the program breakdown. This is just more a condensed version of what that will be. This is good for people that, and we'll also list the timestamps of things. This is good for people that just want to get an understanding of how to work with the energy of the week, but don't have time to listen to our 5-hour episodes that we used to have. We're really condensing it to just the important details, and then the more broader details, a more elaborate version will be over on our email list that will be called the program breakdown. So they'll both be some sort of breakdown. One will be just the bullet points, which will be today. And then the program breakdown over on our email list will be we'll let you know what the gates are. We'll let you know what any channels that are connected that we feel are important. Any astrological placements that we need to elaborate on, that's what we'll be elaborating, will be over on our email list. And there might be a blog also, if you also want to check that out too. Things are moving and switching and being updated, and we just want to make things easy for you guys. And so that's what really this podcast is going to be, or these episodes of the podcast is just more the easy points that you need to know of how to make the most out of your week. So yeah. How do you feel about that, Leah? Or what do you want to say?
No, I'm excited for a little change, because I think that there's a lot of times where there's so much going on in the world and so much going on in our own personal lives that it's nice to have options of places to learn information. So you can hear it here, you can read it in the email, you can read it on our blog, you can, find it in different places. So if you happen to be listening to the podcast and you're like, oh, I want to come back to that, if you're on our email list, you'll see it again.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll get the most out of it over there. We really want to nurture you guys, and having a podcast, you're not directly in front of us, but the email, it feels a little bit more intimate. So we're trying to bring more intimacy into our audience. And so that's why we want to give you the major details over in our email and give you the bullet points over here, so that, a lot of people, they just give it to me straight, how can I make shit happen? That's over here. So, and in this way, you can go down to the show notes down below and kind of see where we talk about certain things. If you only want to know about the first week that we talk about, you'll be able to know what time that starts. If you want to know just the second week, you'll know what time that starts. And so that way we're just making it very easy for you guys to navigate through what you need. So
Yeah.
So I'm feeling a little bit better this week now that things are shifting and changing now that we've moved into some things. Also, things are a little edgy. Like we were just talking about the Mars Saturn opposition that we are currently in today as we record this, and kind of like the weird shit that's been going on, which definitely is going to roll into some stuff next week. And then we also have, I think, what is it, a Pluto square to the nodes or something. And I'm just like, for the love of the cosmos and above, can you just give us all a fucking break? Like, I'm at my wit's end. And I realize, like, with the nodes changing into that Aries Libra axis, that my moon is in Aries. So one, I'm going to be deeply impacted by these transits, which I was deeply impacted by. I mean, these nodes, which I was deeply impacted the last nodes because those were our nodes. But now it's like there's going to be a lot of emotional growth for me with being Aries moon. And this is in my 4th house, which is the house of the home, house of family, which makes sense as to why I just got a kitten. Accidentally got a kitten on a fucking 3rd line day. Thanks to my friend Jen. Thanks, Jen. Thank you, the emotional manifesting generator, with the channel of community that I currently am in transit with. That's connecting to my chart, which actually, as we record this, it's also in transit.
Sweet.
So you're experiencing it too, which you experience it on a regular basis anyways, because you have 2 people in your house that have that channel as well. But these people, they really know how to like put things together and make them like stick. Like, how can we like be nurturing and caring to our community and our family and all those things. And so she shows me this picture of this kitten. We're like out, we're having this conversation. She's like, oh, my friend's she found these 2 kittens and she's trying to give them away and they're gonna go, and she's going into this whole emotional story. Like they're about to go to the Humane Society, and I'm over here like, fuck. I'm like, you just got me in. Like, you just like initiated me into this. Like, I wasn't even remotely thinking about getting a cat. And now you planted the seed inside of me. And, I also have gate 40, which is my core wound. And I'm just like, the question just came to it. I'm like, do I need a cat now? I'm like, I was like, is this because we had to get rid of our old cats because they were scratching our kids, unfortunately. It was like a whole fucking thing. And they were not good cats. I'm just gonna say it. They were not good cats. But before those 2 cats, I had the best cat in the fucking world. And he had a traumatic death. We will not get into that right now. But he was like my baby. And there will never be another cat to replace that cat. I know, like, we all have that one animal, right? That we can remember. That was like, that was it. That was our, I knew you in another fucking life kind of animal. And so she shows me these kittens and I said, I can only take one. I was like, I'm like, as much as I would love to save 2 lives, unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to do that. I was like, but maybe the one that she was showing me. And so then I text Dave the picture and he goes, oh God. And now and like, we have the channel of intimacy together, me and Dave. So now we're both locked in to the emotional wave of my friend. And I'm just like, oh, he's like, well, let's just go see him and see what they're like. And so then the friend said, no, if you're not going to take both of them, I don't even want you to see them. Basically, she's like, we're trying to get rid of both of them together so they can stay together. And I'm just like, that's nice. But I literally cannot do that. Like, I had 2 cats and it's too much fucking hair. Like, they scratched up everything. It's really hard for me to just train 2 cats. We also have a dog.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't want to deal with all that dynamic, like 2 different little tiny personalities and then our dog and then my kids. I'm like, no, I don't have the energy for that shit. I know what my sacral can apply its life force to, and I know what it can't. It's not that. But then the seed was planted. Okay. The seed was then planted. So then Dave's on Pet Finder. Okay. That night, looking at every fucking kitten that exists in our area. And then he shows me this one. And I go, oh my God, that one looks exactly like Patrick, my old cat. And I go, oh God. I'm like, you know what? I was like, let's just go. Then we talk about fucking timing. He was going to be at PetSmart the very next day, ready for adoption. And I'm just like, holy shit. So I'm like, let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just go see him. I'm like, if he is the most like chill cat, or like he's just like he's good with the kids, like we got to spend time with this cat and all this stuff. And I'm like, I will know immediately if he's the right cat once I see him. So we go. He's right there. They're like, do you want to go in there and play with him for a little bit and see how he is? I said, yep. And so they bring him in. He immediately is purring. He's a purr fucking machine. This cat the motor does not turn off. Okay. And so he's just like, Otis is like trying to pick him up in all these weird places. And he's just like, whatever. And he's just super chill, but he's like playful, like a kitten, but not like crazy. Cause you know, those some kittens that are like, I'm just like, no, I can't do one of those. And then they brought in this other kitten that I was thinking about, and he was like attached to my shoulder. And I was like, no, can you please take him out? I was like, this is not the right. I knew immediately. I'm like, nope, he's any skittish cat is 150% a no for me. But this cat was like, he was like open. I think he's a generator. So he was like open, enveloping. He's just like, I'm just here for the fucking fun, guys. But like I was like, okay. We went back and forth for like 30 minutes. And like, because I'm in an emotional transit, I could not make a fucking decision to save my life. And I went back and forth, and I'm thinking about the scratching of all of our new furniture. And I'm thinking about like, is he going to do like, there's some cats that still will not pee in the litter box. I'm like, is he going to be like, I'm going through like my open head, going through every possible scenario that could happen with this cat. And the kids are locked in already. Dave's already a yes. Like he was immediately a yes before we even walked through the fucking door. He was like ready to get a kitten that day. And they're all looking at me, and I'm just like, I really don't know. And I'm like, even when I said, even if I make this decision, whatever it is, I'm not going to be certain. And my sense is uncertainty. And I always know when I am that uncertain that actually it's probably a yes. So anyways, I said yes and no about 10 times. And then all of a sudden it was a yes. And so they're getting ready. They're swiping the card and the strip doesn't work. And then I go, no, I go, hold on. I said, no. I was like, it's a no. I was like, I don't think I can do it. And then all of a sudden, immediately, Milo starts crying, my manifester. And then he initiated me. And then I was like, okay, just do it. We're getting the cat. And I'm just like, now we have this kitten.
He's super cute though.
He is like, you have to see him. Like I'll have to video him for you. So like you can see him in action, because pictures do not do him justice. He's kind of a long haired, and he has like hair just like coming out of his ears. And he's just the sweetest boy in the world. Like the sweetest. And he's a Taurus. And so he's actually pretty, especially for a kitten, he's pretty grounded, and just like, he just wants to hang out and eat. He literally tries to eat everything that he sees. If we like, cause at night we like to eat our dessert, in the bed while we're watching TV. And so he comes in, and we actually have to put him in the bathroom. Sorry about that. And we'll move on to the program recap after this, but we had to put him in the bathroom if we ever eat at night with our little like treats. We got to have our little sacral treats. Anyways, so we have to put him in the bathroom, and he just, because it doesn't matter what it is. Grapes, he wants it. Ice cream, he wants it. Like anything that he smells that is food, he's like, I want to give it a try. And I'm just like, no. I'm like, you're such a fucking Taurus. I'm like, you're probably going to be the fattest fucking cat. Like, he finishes his food all the time. Then he's like, are you going to refill? Refill. I'll refill on the bowl here. So yeah, sorry. What's going quickly before we move to the recap? Anything going on with you, and how they are related to the transits? I know you just told me before that one story, but I don't know what else.
So what's been going on? I just feel like I'm getting a lot of like shocking stories, like weird, crazy things have been happening. Like, and obviously my right brain isn't going to hold all of that information, but like just like news from different people, family members, or like yesterday, I'm sitting on my porch waiting for my kids to come home with the sitter, and a tree fell in the woods, knocked the power, like almost knocked the power lines over, knocked the power out. I thought my house was gonna, I thought the power lines were gonna rip off the side of my house. I'm sitting on my porch, and I scream that, all the neighbors come over. They thought I got hit by a tree or a car or something, but I mean, it was just weird, like the weirdest things. And like our neighbors are getting siding done, and the people doing the siding, putting some sort of electricity thing back on, like that snapped and like burnt a bunch of the new siding. So everyone was okay, but like weird, like literal shocking things happening. It's very strange.
Yeah. The Saturn opposing Mars energy is really stirring a lot of things up.
It is. People. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm just gonna sit at home, and like I tried to do some work on my computer yesterday, and it just like stopped working. So I turned
technology's not working either. Yeah. I was like on a session yesterday with someone, and just the audio stopped working. Like I couldn't hear her, she couldn't hear me, and I'm like, what the fuck? The other session a couple days before that, entire screen starts glitching. Entire screen. And I'm just like, what? I can't, just like, please just let us have like a set. Like, I know I feel like what all this is happening is like we're being forced to kind of unplug, which nobody fucking wants to do, or some of us can't do if we have businesses online. But it is like, what is important to you right now? And what are things that maybe you need to take a step back on? Because we're going to be faced with a lot of resistance right now. So I guess this might be a segue into the program recap, so we can kind of talk about what we're going to be facing for the next couple of weeks. Hi there. We wanted to share with you more ways to connect with us and our free and paid resources and offers that will help you elevate your life and begin to tap into your fullest potential to live out your dreams. First up, we have created a free tips and tricks to understanding your strategy and authority, and a free crash course on the transits that you can find in our beginner's path on our website in the show notes down below. And if you're ready to get a deeper understanding of the human design language and how to apply this to your very own chart, check out our user manual to your true self. And if you've been studying human design for a while and ready to lift up the hood of your vehicle and take a peek inside to better understand your process, we have created a mini variables class on the 4 radical transformations. Now, we do not have view or motivation available to purchase, but we have recently developed a kick-ass variable intensive called the Color Code Variable Intensive. That is a 5-week journey through the radical 4 transformations. And because our last round went so well that I can't even put into words, I can't even describe, but we are doing it again this fall. So please make sure you are subscribed to our email list, because early bird enrollment is about to be made available. And lastly, if you are interested in one-on-ones with me, Krystle, then check out my readings on our website down below to snag one of my reading spots
or email us the word waitlist to be added to the next available openings as I get booked up very quickly. And everything else that you might be interested in, you can find on our website, humandesignastro.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel for some prime education. Now let's go listen to the rest of this captivating episode.
So, where do I want to start? So the number one thing that I want to say here, because we didn't get to talk about it on the last one since we only talked about the new moon for the last one, but Venus has just gone retrograde. Actually, yesterday, if you're watching this on Monday or listening to this on Monday. We're also on YouTube, guys. Hi, hello, how are you? So Venus has just gone retrograde, and you will be getting a review on your self-worth. That will be the number one thing. Anytime Venus goes retrograde, if you want a keyword, it's just review on self, or key phrase, review on self-worth. Okay. And like your inner heart and what's really going on internally for you is going to come to the surface. Okay. So this is also in relation to relationships and finances. They're all connected to the fucking heart, right? If you think about human design, we have the G center, which is connected to our heart, which love, purpose, and direction, right? And our identity. But then we have the other branch of the heart, which is the ego, which is all connected to the material world, self-worth, finances, money, all those things connected in that place. And so all of these aspects are going to be to the forefront. Okay. So this is going to be Leo and Venus. Okay. With this transit, and it's calling for us to not neglect the self. Okay. Leo is all about the me. And so this is not a time to neglect or the self or settle. Okay. Which is also kind of a theme of the nodes right now, right? So it's not a coincidence that this is happening. So this will be an inward focus, and potential there could be a lot of negative self-talk happening internally for you on how you honor your own needs. And again, a re-examination of our relationships. And like I said, this is no coincidence that this is falling right around the time that the nodes have changed into the relationship axis of Aries and Libra. So we'll talk more about that in the program breakdown in our email. So definitely check that out. If you're not already subscribed, go to the show notes down below and get subscribed to our email. Okay. So let's move on to the first week that we want to talk about, which is the 24th. Okay. So the 24th, right? The 24th. Yes. I want to make sure the 24th. So the 24th kicks off with a week focused on our voice, which is going to be for a while that we're going to be focusing on our voice, just so you guys know. So we're focusing on our voice and our expression, which ties nicely with honoring our needs with the current retrograde. And we will be asked to speak our authentic truth and our beliefs, okay, with this particular program, and get to the root of our internal stories, okay? Because this is all going to be in the next week after that. It's going to be about expressing those internal stories. And so now we're really kind of like trying to figure out, what is our next story going to be? Okay. And we're going to be grounded in the root. Perfect place to be grounded in, right? We're going to be grounded in the root. As the light shines on our expression, the grounding energy is calling for us to see what is blocking our way right now. Which we're all kind of like, yeah, I've been in that for a while because we've been in the channel of mutation, right? And so we're going to have a focus with this particular program. So pay attention to your inner dialogue, your environment, and your relationships during this time, so you can really get to the root of what is blocking you from moving forward. And then on Tuesday, we will enter into a new program, also with a focus on our expression and our goals, and speaking out this week where we want our future to take us and how you can be a leader in your own right. And with the support of the earth, which will be connected to our dreams and our fantasies, you might find yourself daydreaming about how you can take action and allow the people around you to be the support system to make your dreams into a reality. So be prepared to go inward a lot right now, which we kind of all are with fucking everything retrograde right now, right? Which happens also during the summer, just so everybody knows. We all go retrograde in the summer. So be prepared to go inward this week and use your voice to speak out the reality that you wish to live. It's going to be important. You're going to be going into you're almost going to be reinitiated in a way. Okay. Which I can feel that coming in already. I actually have this gate. So let's jump to the next week now. Again, these are just bullet points of what you need to know. All details will be in the program breakdown in our email. So be sure to subscribe to that. But we want to give you the basics here. So let's move over to the 31st. Okay. And let's dive into how to capture the essence of, I can't believe it, August. Okay. So this week on the 31st, we kick off the week with an inward focus on our expression and all the stories we have been collecting as from like this last week's program, right? And we're about to share our stories. This week might feel a little more like we need to retreat. And if there is something to get off your chest, though, because it's like we got this particular energy kind of get you to go inward to figure out how to express and who to express. This is really important with this energy to use discernment on who you want to express your feelings to. And so share your almost like inner stories this week to a trusted confidant. Okay. And the support for this week will be through the grounding energy of our needs. So here we are going into our internal stories a lot, right? And now it's like, well, what do you actually fucking need? And so a question to ask with this energy activated might be, are all my basic needs being met? And if not, what are actionable steps that I can take to achieve that goal? What needs to go and what needs to be put in place? Okay. And then Sunday, we will enter into a new program with the focus on our strategy. So as we've been now collecting our stories for these last 2 weeks, right? We've been really trying to figure out our voice and our truth and really trying to figure out what do we need. We then need a strategy, right? See how everything just kind of leads into the next thing. And that's why I like doing the bi-weekly ones, because it really shows you the story that's playing out in this material world. So we need to strategize now. How can we strategize the role we wish to play? That'll be a huge question for this next program. How can we strategize the role we wish to play in this world and be our own leader in our own right? There's a lot of leadership that's coming in with this next week, as we have also moved into Leo season. Okay. No coincidence that this energy is taking place, because it's all connected to Leo. And so what is the role you wish to play in this world? And be your own leader. We need to learn to be our own leader a lot. We're all the times looking for other people to direct us, but how can you in this moment direct yourself? And our support from the earth is mindfulness. Okay. And really listening to our inner desires, listening to our inner voice, and allowing that to be the direction we take moving forward.
Okay, so let's talk about full moon Aquarius. So full moon Aquarius will be actually a super full moon, which means it's going to be a little bit closer to us. And I believe when we have super full moons that this is an opportunity to be able to reach what you are creating with potential, a little bit more forward movement. So what have you been working on for the last 6 months? For every full moon, that's a question that you always want to be asking is, what have I been really
cultivating and creating for these last 6 months. So full moons represent a release or a completion from the seeds that you planted from 6 months ago prior to where you have been, like where were you 6 months ago? That's a question that I always ask myself during every full moon. And it's a question for you to ask yourself as well. So Aquarius is a fixed air sign. So this could be a potential time with it being in the moon to intellectualize your emotions. In astrology, Aquarius is associated with independence, innovation, and intellectual pursuits. When a full moon occurs in the sign, it amplifies these qualities, okay? And making it a time of embracing individuality, another key word for Aquarius, and progressive thinking. I like to think of individuality and innovation when it comes to Aquarius. Always find keywords that are associated with the signs, and also even with everything in human design. If you just break it down to keywords and phrases, it makes this a whole lot easier. So during this period, you might feel a strong desire for freedom and uniqueness, urging you to break free from conventional norms and explore new avenues of growth. And that's really what full moons are about. It's about how much have you grown the past 6 months. So it's a great time to challenge social constructs and envision a brighter and more inclusive future. As an air sign, Aquarius encourages intellectual stimulation and openness to new ideas. This full moon may bring about insights, stimulating discussions, and opportunities to collaborate with like-minded individuals. That's also what Aquarius is. It's all about, who are my people? So who's been sitting beside you for the last 6 months? So it may inspire you to think outside the box, generating innovative solutions and creative approaches to challenges. So, which we've been facing a lot. The cosmos have really been throwing a lot at us recently, right? Or maybe I'm speaking for myself. So astrologically, it also aligns with the sun in Leo, right? Because they are opposite ends if you look at the wheel. So this is about creating a dynamic interaction between these two signs. So Leo brings a sense of self-confidence, passion, and a desire for self-expression, which may feel a little bit more internal right now with Venus retrograde in Leo, right? You have to look at everything pulled apart and then kind of how are they being pieced back together. So you might be feeling a little bit low right now, a little bit internal. This combination intensifies the drive to create your authentic self while also recognizing the importance of collective consciousness. From a human design perspective, this is a pressure to drive and regulate your personal needs and relationships. Since we are in a season, clearly, of relationships, and Leo representing the self-expression of who you are, and Aquarius representing the me to benefit the we, what is officially time to close out where your basic needs aren't being met? And how can you be more of service, which is also a key word for Aquarius? How can you be more of service to the collective, which is what Aquarius is all about? So that's what I got. Also share some more. I'll share the gate that this activation will be in over on our program breakdown in our email. So again, as I'll keep saying, make sure you are subscribed to our email. So there's a lot happening. Okay. There's a lot happening, but there's also a lot of probably feeling like a little stuck, a little stagnant. These next 2 weeks might be a time to really find ways to move through it. Do you need to jump over the hurdle? Do you need to go around it? Do you need to bulldoze it? There's going to be a lot of those questions that are going to kind of come up. And with a lot of reflection with the retrogrades, and then with Venus just going retrograde, going into Leo season, really being a self-focus of self right now, and how can you stand in your power, move towards that Aries North Node, and kind of like dismantle any sort of relationships that there's no proper foundation to stand on. Fuck, I've been doing that. Okay, so that's all I got. And let's see what the cards have to say.
I don't think they could have been any more aligned with what you said. I think these are probably the most, like, if I could just say, just go back and listen to everything Krystle said, that's what the tarot cards are saying. So, but I'm not going to, because I got a few other things to say with it.
Yeah.
But do if you need to. So the first week, the week of the 24th, I got the 9 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords is all about anxiety, what's keeping you awake at night, what relationships aren't working anymore, what are you worrying about, what's keeping you down, what's keeping your dreams suppressed, what are you dreaming about? Maybe look at your dreams, do some dream logging, or I don't know, some people don't dream at all. I dream very vivid dreams.
It's not that you don't dream, it's that
Or you don't
are remembering the dreams. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember them for a few hours in the morning, and then after that they fizzle away, but they're very interesting. I've had a lot of people in my dreams that I don't know personally, but it's people.
Okay, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I do have to respond to this.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly what is happening to each of us. I keep meeting people in my dreams lately, and this is because of the notes and some of the retrogrades also. But I keep meeting people in my dreams that I have not talked to in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'm having these conversations with them, and it's like, I feel like our dreams, one, pay attention to the people that you're talking to in your dreams, because they're trying to give you messages on how to almost like reestablish the types of relationships that you really need to have that are going to be nurturing your soul. That's what these dreams have been really about. And I've been really like waking up and being like, oh my God, I haven't seen this person in potential years. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like
that's kind of like what retrogrades feel like too, like people come back, like those old relationships can kind of come back in some way. And a lot of people think, oh, they're going to text me or they're going to show up in my life. But sometimes it's just, they're in your dream.
And they might be dreaming about you too.
Yeah.
And I would just like, with having the nodes now being in this relationship access, more shit like that's going to continue to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So suggest like paying attention to that. What's keeping you awake at night? What are you worrying about? What are some limiting beliefs if you're not following through on something? So sometimes roadblocks just mean like you need to take a different direction, or that needs to go away, or whatever it is that, works for you. It doesn't mean it's not like your purpose. Maybe it just means there needs to be a different route that you take. Take a different exit.
Yeah. I feel like that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, right. Like,
I'm like getting back on the highway right now, and I'm like, okay, where is the next exit? That's correct.
Yeah, exactly. So the card that goes along with this, which could be helpful, is called the Age of Light. And it says, you've been training for this for lifetimes. Mystics and sages throughout the ages have predicted this period in history, and you decided to incarnate in the middle of it. There is no mistake that you are supposed to be here at this time of great change. If you ever feel unprepared or daunted by the path that is calling you, know this: you've been training for this for lifetimes. You're way more than the days that you have breathed through you in this life. You are also all of the lifetimes that came before. We talk about like previous lifetimes all the time. South Node, like where did we come from? Where are we going? All of these experiences have polished your soul into the most magnificent expression that is your authentic self. Your soul has many facets. Imagine a fingerprint, human design. If your soul is a million times more intricate than that. If you put together all of the fingerprints of all of the people that you have been, you would not even get close to fathoming how much of a unique masterpiece you are. You came here in a clear soul plan. You came in the wisdom beyond your years. This is the part of you that longs to be seen. This is the part of you that is ready to step forward, that is ready to emerge. And this is not the lifetime to stay hidden, but to step forth and be seen and rise, which leads into the second week, which I pulled for the week of the 31st, the Hermit, which when you said that, I was like dying laughing, because we're going inward. And, the Hermit is all about, he's a wise man. He's a wise hermit. You think of anyone who's, like the monk, the ones who are traveling through time, the ones who are we picture them as being like the knowledge leaders, or the ones who are, they go inward because they're strong inwardly. They're working on themselves, they're working on their wisdom, and they're working on their thoughts, and they're thinking, what is it that's bringing me to the next phase in my life? So a lot of times when we go through different phases, we go through like this dark, they call it, the darkness of the soul, or the cocoon phase. Like, I like to think of myself as being in the cocoon. Like, I go through different phases of butterflyism or whatever, because you kind of have to go through that dark, sludgy, gross, nasty death almost to rebirth into something new. And the 9, being the 9, and the Hermit is the number 9, we're kind of coming to some sort of a completion. And when you go inward, you're working on all of the things that need to be worked on, whether you're going through it spiritually, physically, mentally, with a therapist, with a friend. You said to reach out to people who are like your confidants, like who are the people that are going to hear you or going to listen to you and be there with you, not the ones who are going to just try and like put a Band-Aid on it or tell you to move on or just pull up your pants or your, what is it? Not your pants, pull up your bootstraps. Oh my God. Maybe that too. I don't know, but
pants are down. You need to pull them up.
Maybe someone pulled your pants down and pantsed you and you got to pull them back on because you're embarrassed about, I don't know, whatever.
Well, we're going to go down a weird tangent.
It's going to be really weird because my 4323 is just going to try and make up for what I said.
Yeah.
So,
well, you are, well, no, your 4323 is the reason why you said
yeah, it's weird. Now I'm going to start sweating, but just use this time to kind of, like Krystle said, to think about and contemplate what's going on in your life. And then how can you express that? How can you bring that forward? And the light inside his little, what would you call that? Lantern? Yes, thank you. That's your shining light. That's what you're here to do. That's the light you're here to shine. That's what you're here to express out to the world. So to support that, I pulled the Keepers of the Earth. And it says, you are so supported. You do not stand alone. You have a magnificent team of helpers, both in this world and of the earth, who are here to help you every step of the way. Call upon them for assistance. They are here to help. The Keepers of the Earth acknowledge the work that you have done already and are ready to work through you. They bow at your feet, and they thank you for wanting to stand for them, to devote your life to protect the earth in your unique way. It is time to increase your capacity to receive support in the physical realm. This can come in the form of financial abundance, acts of service from strangers, or people flocking to help you and your work. The only thing that is stopping you right now is your capacity to receive support. You deserve to be rewarded for the work that you are doing. You do not need to do it alone. Call upon the Keepers of the Earth to help you in your mission. Open your heart and your mind to receiving more than you ever thought possible. And ask yourself, what kind of support do I need? And how can I call it in right away?
Yeah, I think support is a great word to use right now, moving forward for the next 18 months of how do you want to be supported in your relationships? Because I think so many people get stuck in like dead end relationships where they're staying with people just because of history a lot of times, which I've tended to do when I knew the bond was broken and I can feel it internally. And I would stay just also as a generator. A lot of times I feel like I don't think that I'll have anything else to come to me to respond to. And I'm realizing that the more that I say no to the type of relationships that are not fulfilling me, I'm not being satisfied by them, that then it actually elevates me to the next level of where I will get the next type of relationship that can fulfill that. But I have to be able to say no to the ones that aren't working and be able to stand alone for a while. Yeah, I think that rings true for like projector invites too, don't have to say yes to everything. Use discernment on what is a yes, what is a true yes, and what is something that you're just saying yes because you feel like it's an invitation. So you're like, I want to do all the things. You don't feel like, you're not being properly recognized or seen, but you don't think anybody is actually going to see you. So you say, well, this person is seeing me for this, even though you don't find that as a recognition or whatever. So I don't think I'll get anything better is a lot of times we don't, and we think like whatever we're given is what we deserve, is also something that I'm trying to let go of, that storyline, that just because the world right now, this material world, which is all a fucking illusion, is telling me that this is what I'm getting, it does not mean that I have to say yes to it. I deserve better. I am like such a good fucking friend or like mentor or guide, and like I deserve the same fucking shit in return. It really took me 37 years to realize that.
It does.
It really did. Like I'm just getting it now. Just getting it. But also I have a lot of harsh aspects in my design and astrology. That is why things have played out the way they have, and will probably continue in a lot of ways. But there are aspects of our chart that we can evolve and almost overcome, which is something that Kabbalah has taught me. And that's when they speak about Kabbalistic astrology, it's that the way they express it is that your chart is not actually fixed. And that it's about transmuting the light. And if you look at it, our astrology is connected to our personality side, which is more fluid.
Right.
It's more mutable. The part that you will not be able to change about yourself, though, is going to be your design side. Your unconscious. You can't change that. That you just have to kind of find acceptance, surrender, and lean into. And when you can surrender to the unconscious, it'll support you to the evolution of the conscious.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Sorry, I got there's a lot of I'm being just streams of inspiration lately. And I guess it's because things are moving. Even though, again, externally, it feels like there's some stagnation happening right now. But I know it's just because I need to change direction, and you can't just kind of I'm not a manifesting generator, a manifestor. I'm there has to I'm kind of backing up my car a little bit. I'm looking around. I'm okay, where's the next direction we're really going in? What's the next actual tangible step to take? And I have to kind of accept that that's just part of my process.
Right.
So if you enjoyed this, please make sure you are subscribed to our email list. We will be dropping the program breakdown on Tuesday of what day? The 25th.
The 25th.
Tuesday the 25th. We will be gifting you guys the program breakdown through email. So just make sure you are subscribed to our email list so you can be in the know on the full details of all of this. And we will see you over on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode of our podcast on the Human Design and Astro Club. We hope you have found the information insightful and useful. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us a review and sharing it with your friends and family. We love to hear from our listeners, so feel free to reach out to us with any feedback, questions, or suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.